have our first exam, which will cover those three theories. We'll have one exam which doesn't come until our first exam doesn't come until pretty late in the quarter, and it will cover all those three ethical theories to make sure that you have a good basis in this abstract theory about where right action or ethical demands come from. And then once we're done with that, we'll move into the applied part. We'll spend a week on abortion and a week on animal rights, and then we'll have an exam. We'll spend a week on famine relief and euthanasia, and then we'll have an exam. We'll spend a week on political philosophy and capital punishment, and then we'll have an exam. So all in all, you'll have 4 exams, about 25 questions each. You'll have about an hour to complete them. They'll be available for a certain window of time. I'm not sure how long I want to make them available. In addition to the exams will be worth 20% of your grade each. So 80% total of your grade will be coming from these exams. There will also be 20% of your grade coming from the discussion board. The discussion board will be something you need to post on 3 times a week. There'll be a prompt. A new discussion board will become available or open up at the beginning of each week, and it'll have a certain prompt. You'll have to post a response to that prompt. Make sure it's thoughtful and long. I'm not going to give credit for anybody who just BS's their way through this assignment, right? I want you to show me that you've done the reading, and if you really want to score the points, when you're doing the reading, look for something you object to. Look for something you think is wrong, right? This course is not about blindly just reading this material and then trying to memorize it, although learning a lot of different names and keeping the position straight is a part of it. But really, if I can see you doing real philosophical thought, attacking positions, coming up with objections, critically engaging them, that's where you're going to pull ahead on your grade. So when you're doing your reading, I would check the discussion board first, see what the discussion board topic's going to be, and then when you're doing your reading and you get to the part dealing with the discussion board topic, make sure you have your mind running, looking for some sort of problem or objection you can pose. Or even if you're having trouble understanding it, you can post your best attempt at explaining this thing you don't understand. But make a real effort. 4 or 5 sentences is not going to cut it. Okay, so that's the discussion board. The other thing you have to do on the discussion board beyond your post in response to my prompt is that you need to have 2 replies to your fellow students' posts. Those also need to be well thought out. So you need to read over your fellow students' posts, find somebody who you disagree with. Criticizing them would be great. You have to keep it respectful, though. I really want to encourage you to be critical, to engage both the readings for this course critically and your fellow students. I want to see objections and criticisms. That's really the only way in which we can do any sort of philosophy. We can't have experiments settle the questions for us, so we have to make sure that our arguments are as rigorous as possible and as well thought out and responding to as many objections as possible. So really, one of the things that's difficult to get students to do, maybe it'll be easier in an online course, this is my first online course, is to get students to critically engage one another. No one wants to be hostile or criticize one of their fellow students. You're going to have to get over that. I don't want you to be disrespectful to your fellow students. I want this to be an intellectual engagement, a respectful intellectual engagement, but we need to be criticizing and objecting to each other's ideas. Okay, so that's what your responses on the discussion board will be like. The other part of your grade, although you're going to be graded on your exams and your discussion board posts, there will also be a portion, well, not a portion of your grade, but you'll also be, in order to get anything other than a 0 for this course, there's a number of ungraded assignments you have to do. Occasionally there'll be a quiz or an audio recording or a video lecture that you're going to have to watch. The computer will keep track of whether you've done it or not. If you haven't done everything, it will say ungraded assignment on it. And if you haven't done all your ungraded assignments by the end of this course, you're just going to receive a 0 for the course. So it's not hard to do. You don't have to do them on any sort of timeline. They just have to be completed by the time of the final exam, the last exam. But you do have to do them. And when we get close to the last exam, I'll probably be emailing people out emailing reminders to people who have missed something to make sure that they do it by the last exam. It would be prudent of you. So this is not a moral obligation to do them on time as they become available, but it would be in your long-term interests. So it would be prudent, or you prudentially ought to do them as they become available each week in order to stay on top of the subject matter. It will help you with your posts. It will also help you with your exams. So try to listen to all the recordings and taking all the little quizzes that go along with the readings as they become available, even if they're ungraded. You're going to have to do them anyway. I guess that could be your first lesson, right? Because you'll be reading about in the introductory material, there's a difference between your legal obligations, your moral obligations, and what philosophers call your prudential obligations. And those are the obligations you have because they're what you're in your long-term interest. And so in this case, you have a prudential obligation, or it's in your long-term interest to do the ungraded assignments as they become available. But clearly no legal obligation or moral obligation. Okay. The other thing I want to mention, because I'm getting a lot of emails about this, is that there is no text for this course. There is a text which all the readings for this course will become available each week as the material for that week becomes available. They'll all be PDF files. Maybe some of them will be document files if I've typed up notes. I did type up a good amount of notes or lecture notes for the Aristotle readings, but I think I might have converted them to PDFs. So I'm going to try converting the things to PDFs. There's plenty of free PDF readers on the web. There are a couple PowerPoints. There's a free PowerPoint viewer from Microsoft, even if, not PDF, PowerPoint viewer, there's not, even if PowerPoint, the program, is not free, Microsoft has a PowerPoint viewer which is available. So there's a lot of different media in which this course is going to be conveyed to you. Some PDFs, some videos, some audio recordings, some PowerPoints. So you're going to have to stay on top of downloading the software required to be able to view or read or listen to whatever whatever medium in which the information is being provided to you in. None of this stuff is going to require you to buy any sort of software. All of this material is, all the sort of software needed to run anything that's for this course is available free. Just go ahead and send me an email if you're having trouble because you don't have software for it. I know that OpenOffice is a free Microsoft Word replacement, which has a PowerPoint viewer and editor and Word document creator. Foxit PDF is a great PDF software that's free. So there's plenty of ways in which you shouldn't have any problem getting software to run the components of this course. That said, please make an effort to find them on your own. I'm going to have a lot of people to deal with, so just go ahead and do a Google search. If there's a file that's posted and you don't have anything that runs it, go ahead and just do a search for .doc or .ppdt or .pdf, and you should be able to find software that will run it pretty easily. I think that most people taking this online course will probably have all the software required. There's nothing exotic, but there is a couple different types of files which the material for this course will be provided in. This is my first time teaching an online course. I've taught in person quite a bit. I'm having a little bit of trouble lecturing to a tiny web camera, so you'll have to forgive my lecture style currently. I'll have to wean myself into it. This is not easy. I'm probably saying a lot, maybe looking off, but I'm trying to make eye contact with this camera. I would appreciate any sort of advice anyone has about the lecture style. There I go, again. But I look forward to a great course. I look forward to a feisty course, and you can always email me. I'm teaching 4 courses, 3 ethics courses. This is one of them. So when you email me, please tell me that you're in my online contemporary moral problems course, because otherwise it's going to be hard for me to know where I need to go or what information you need. I've had a number of students ask me, is there a text for the course? Before this quarter has started, but I have no idea what class they're in. So it's difficult for me to respond to your questions if I don't know what course you're asking me about. But that's about it. Great.